The Harpoon is Corsair's entry-level mouse, but while it's cheap, Corsair still maintains its quality. It's good to have different shapes, so we don't end up with the same mouse over and over. But Corsair go a bit too far into the unsafe territory in my opinion, where a lot of people's fingers could be uncomfortable. Hi, my name is Zai, and I've played Quake for over 18 years and reviewed over 50 mice. Upon first seeing the Harpoon, I thought finally we have a normal shape, but as soon as I put my hand on it at PAX, I realized we had another Corsair over design. The pictures are very deceiving, so to start, here's a tour of the mouse. So if we look at it from the top, it looks normal, right? And even on the side it looks normal. And the other side. So what is the problem? It's the shape of the sides. Notice on the right here, it sort of curves outward at the base. The curve up the top creates a ledge. That's to help with picking it up. So that's the good one. The curve at the base reduces that area considerably and keeps your fingers above the mousepad. For some, that's good, but I don't think this is the way to do it. Because it reduces the grip area, the curve makes it harder to get a grip of the mouse. So as a result of this, my little finger is trying to find a ledge to assist with picking it up, but instead it has something underneath it, meaning when I'm lifting the mouse, that little finger isn't able to do anything more than stabilize. For more control, I want both fingers to have a somewhat flat surface with a ledge above them. The same can be said for the thumb on the other side. I have to put my thumb right up next to the buttons to get the benefits of the ledge. Actually, here's the next issue. When you curve surfaces like this, it makes the thumb move when pressure is applied. Watch, on the Harpoon, I'm going to press inward and up a bit, following the curve. Notice it goes up fairly easily. Now if I do the same on the G403, it just stays there, because there's no curve causing my thumb to slip. And the horizontal curve going toward the end of the mouse has a different problem. On its own, it's fine, but look at the position of my fingers now. They're so badly angled, one actually goes across the DPI button. This is actually fairly common on mice, but not to this extent. This is the first mouse I've really had a problem with accidental DPI clicks. I had to disable it after doing it 4 times in a game. To avoid that, I'd need to put my thumb here, but again, the vertical and horizontal curves make it uncomfortable. The only part of my thumb that touches it is the bottom, not enough to get a grip. The rest of the mouse is quite well designed. I like the comfort grooves in the buttons, and also the basic shape of the back. The button slope is gradual with the hump toward the back, so it's mostly suited to palm and claw grip, depending on hand size. I can also use it in fingertip grip with roughly 18cm hands. Here's what it looks like next to some other mice so you know the basic size of it. The shape makes it feel even smaller than it is though. For measurements, the grip width is a bit misleading, with the base being 6cm, but it's more like 5.5, same as the top shell area, and the base length is about 10cm, while the actual length is more like 11.5. The height is a bit unexpected, being the standard 4cm. They're good dimensions, but for a mouse this size, I would have thought 3.5cm for the height would have been best. So for grips, I'd say palm maybe 14 to 17cm, claw 15 to 18, and fingertip 17 to 18.5. But again, because it's not the best shape, these measurements are no guarantee that it will be comfortable. They just mean you might be able to use it. The weight distribution feels like it's just under the back button, which is in line with the sensor. Moving on to the buttons, here is a listen to the clicks. Left and right feel light with a good amount of tension, but I think we need more mice with buttons separate from the shell. But they should suit all game types. Middle click isn't as tight as others, but still about twice the left and right. And the scrolling steps is somewhat noticeable, but I think it's a bit more suited to browsing than gaming. The side buttons are smooth and feel like they have a good amount of travel. And the DPI button, it gets in the way for accidental clicks, but it is fine as a button, and no problem using multiple buttons together. In the latency testing, neither test is accurate, but compared with the G403, it seems like it has some delay. Some of that could be the difference in tensions, so I'm just going to say it didn't worry me in game. It seemed to click straight away. Now to check the implementation of the 3320 optical sensor. This is one of the problems with the mouse. They wanted to keep it cheap, and I guess they spent the extra on the quality. Rocket jumping and in-game is good enough, but if I flick it quickly, it can lose track and look up. That's what we call spin-outs, because the old mice used to lose track and spin around. Same thing happens in the tilt slam test, holding the mouse on its side and then slamming it down. In the sniper test, I tested at a few DPI levels. This is at 1000, and it tracks well enough, nothing unexpected, so that's fine. Testing for acceleration, it's hard because I don't want to make it spin out, but with a decent amount of speed, I couldn't find the acceleration. It seems fine. The liftoff distance is about 1 DVD on a cloth pad, and 2 DVDs on a hard pad. 1 DVD is actually quite good on the cloth pad. I can't detect any delay, it feels responsive. and I tested the 360. If I set it so that the 360 of the G403 is about 21cm, the Harpoon does it in about 17, and that's set at the same DPI. I tested multiple levels with very similar results, so you should probably measure your 360 before buying this. In the line test it jitters a little bit, but it doesn't do curves too well, but I'd say it's good enough overall. No angle snapping, no skipping, the lift-off movement is good enough, and there's no lens rattle. So it wasn't really a bad performance, but given that there are cheap mice with good sensors now, they should probably have used a better sensor. For the build quality, when tapping it, it sounds fine, and when shaking it, there's no sound. Corsair do make their mice well. The materials are plastic on the main shell, and there are rubberized grips on the sides, and of course both feel quite good. The cable is fairly smooth rubber, but not too flexible, as seen here, and it's about 1.8 meters long. Another plus for the mouse, it's very lightweight at about 83 grams. On the base, there are 4 small mouse feet, and they glide smoothly and quietly. In the software, you can rebind the buttons, with macro, text, remap key, media, mouse and more. In lighting, it's an RGB mouse, so you can set it to rainbow, shift, static, and so on. And in DPI, you can set 5 levels, from 250 to 6000, in increments of 250. Each has a color attached, and you have a sniper option. A quick note in performance, it has enhanced pointer precision. You'll need to turn that off, otherwise it'll keep setting it in Windows every time you boot. In conclusion, Corsair's quality is really good, even on this mouse. It has so many good features, it's actually a shame it's let down by the shape and the sensor. I don't think I'll ever get used to those sides, but if I had to use it, I still play quite well. As seen here, watch this highlight. And again. That's totally predicted and precise. One more time in slow motion, just because it's so satisfying watching a mid-air rocket connect. So I can still aim better with this than big mice, I'm just not as comfortable doing it. If you have a smaller hand and want a cheap mouse, and you think you can get used to the shape, then it's worth looking at. I think it's an experiment by Corsair, testing the market, and I really like what they've done, so I hope they can make something like this again, and take note of my suggestions. In short, really good mouse in many ways, but not a top recommendation due to the sensor and shape. It's interesting and a bit of fun, and it could be used in MOBAs and FPS, and it's mostly going to be for hands smaller than mine. Hope that helps. Special thanks to Corsair for giving this to me at PAX for a review, and if you want to buy one, I'll leave the usual links in the description. As always, subscribe, share, like this video, and I'll catch you in the next.